Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because today we're diving into something that has literally broken the internet and left everyone asking the same question. How is this even possible? We're talking about Jimin from BTS and his recent arrival at Lisbon airport that has fans, casual observers, and even aviation experts completely baffled. The phrase that's trending worldwide right now is shining like a peach. And once you hear what happened, you'll understand why people can't stop talking about it. So let's set the scene here. BTS just embarked on what can only be described as a marathon journey from Seoul to Lisbon. We're not talking about a quick domestic flight or even a straightforward international trip. This was a grueling 20-hour journey that included multiple legs, layovers, time zone changes, and all the chaos that comes with international travel in 2026. For context, that's the kind of flight that leaves most people looking like they've been through a natural disaster. You know what I'm talking about. Puffy eyes, disheveled hair, wrinkled clothes, that general aura of exhaustion that screams, "I need a bed and I need it now." The journey started at Incheon International Airport in Seoul, where BTS departed on February 2nd. The route took them first to Dubai for a layover, which is already a solid 12 to 13 hours of flying time. Then from Dubai, they had another leg to Lisbon, Portugal, adding several more hours to an already exhausting trip. When you factor in layover time, airport procedures, security checks, and the general stress of traveling as one of the most famous groups on the planet with massive crowds at every turn, you're looking at easily 20 hours of continuous travel, possibly more. This is the kind of journey that would destroy most people's appearance, energy levels, and general will to live. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When most celebrities arrive after long-haul international flights, they typically do one of several things. They either rush through the airport with their heads down, hiding behind sunglasses and masks, trying to avoid cameras, or they look visibly exhausted, which is completely understandable and human. We've all seen those paparazzi photos of celebrities arriving at airports looking tired, makeup-free, in comfortable sweats, basically looking like normal human beings who just endured the same uncomfortable experience as everyone else on that plane. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's real, it's relatable, it's human. But then there's Jimin. When he stepped off that plane in Lisbon after 20+ hours of travel, the reaction from everyone present was immediate and unanimous: disbelief. The photos and videos that started flooding social media within minutes of his arrival show something that honestly seems to defy the basic laws of physics, biology, and everything we understand about how air travel affects the human body. People who were there, fans who had camped out at the airport specifically hoping to catch a glimpse of BTS, reporters covering the arrival, even airport staff who see celebrities regularly, everyone had the same reaction. Shock, confusion, and the immediate question, how? The phrase, shining like a peach, started trending almost immediately, and it's such a perfect description of what people were seeing. Jimin's skin looked absolutely radiant, glowing with this fresh, dewy quality that you'd expect from someone who just finished a luxurious spa day, not someone who spent 20 hours in recycled airplane air. His complexion was flawless, clear, luminous. There was no puffiness, no redness, no signs of dehydration or fatigue. His natural blonde hair, which could easily look flat or greasy after that much time in transit, somehow looked perfectly tousled in that effortlessly stylish way that people spend hours trying to achieve intentionally. Let's talk about his outfit for a second, because this adds another layer to the whole situation. He was wearing black baggy pants paired with a long black coat and cardigan, accessorized with his now famous Dior Normandy tote bag, the $8,700 piece that sold out worldwide within minutes of photos circulating online. The outfit looked fresh, crisp, perfectly styled. There were no wrinkles, no signs of a cramped airplane seats, no indication whatsoever that these clothes had been worn during 20 hours of international travel. For anyone who has ever tried to look presentable after a long flight, you know how impossible this seems. Airplane seats wrinkle clothes. Sitting for extended periods creates creases. Eating airplane food can lead to spills or stains. And yet, Jimin looked like he had just stepped out of a professional photo shoot. But it wasn't just the physical appearance that had people talking. It was his entire demeanor, his energy, the way he carried himself. Video footage from the airport shows him walking with perfect posture, moving with that characteristic grace and fluidity that he's known for. There was no shuffling, no visible exhaustion in his body language, no signs of jet lag or fatigue. He was smiling, genuinely smiling, not the forced smile that exhausted people put on for cameras. He was interacting with fans, making eye contact, taking time to acknowledge the people who had waited hours to see him. This is someone who should theoretically be running on empty, desperate to get to a hotel and collapse, and yet he seemed energized, present, fully engaged. The airport videos that went viral show something else interesting too. While other members of BTS also looked good, because let's be real, they're all incredibly attractive people with access to the best skincare and styling in the world, there was something distinctly different about Jimin. Other members showed subtle signs of a journey, maybe slightly tired eyes, or a more subdued energy, or just that general vibe of, I'm glad this flight is over. All completely normal, completely understandable. But Jimin looked like he had teleported rather than traveled. People in the comments kept saying variations of the same thing. Did he fly first class in a spa? Does he have a secret skincare routine we don't know about? Is this man even human? The scientific community, or at least the internet's version of it, has been trying to figure this out. People started analyzing everything. The type of plane BTS flew on, theorizing about whether they had access to special amenities. The skincare products Jimin might use, with entire threads dedicated to trying to reverse engineer his routine. The possibility of professional makeup, though close-up photos and videos make it pretty clear that if he's wearing any makeup, it's so minimal and natural that it might as well not be there. Some people even started discussing genetics, pointing out that Jimin might just have naturally resilient skin and a constitution that handles travel better than average. Flight attendants and travel experts started chiming in too, sharing their professional perspectives. Several flight attendants who work long-haul international routes commented on the posts, essentially saying that what they were seeing didn't align with their experience of how even the most beautiful, well-prepared passengers look after 20-hour journeys. One flight attendant with 15 years of experience wrote a whole post explaining the various ways that air travel affects appearance: dehydration from low humidity in the cabin, puffiness from pressure changes, exhaustion from disrupted sleep patterns, skin dullness from lack of fresh air. She concluded by saying that while good skincare and hydration can help, there's usually still some visible impact, and whatever Jimin is doing goes beyond standard travel wellness tips. The beauty and skincare community absolutely exploded with speculation. Korean skincare enthusiasts started creating lists of products that Jimin might potentially use, though of course nobody actually knows his personal routine. People discussed everything from sheet masks to facial mists to specific serums known for creating that dewy, luminous look. Some suggested he might do an extensive skincare routine during the flight itself, taking advantage of the long hours to do multiple mask treatments. Others theorized about professional treatments he might have had before the trip, things like oxygen facials or LED light therapy that could provide longer-lasting glow effects. But here's what makes this whole situation even more remarkable. This isn't the first time this has happened. If you go back and look at photos of Jimin at airports throughout his career, there's a consistent pattern. Whether he's arriving or departing, whether it's a short domestic flight or a long international journey, he always looks impossibly fresh and put together. It's become such a known phenomenon that fans have coined the term Airport Jimin to describe this specific version of him that seems to exist outside normal human limitations. There are entire compilation videos on YouTube showing Jimin at various airports over the years, and the consistency is almost eerie. Same radiant skin, same effortless style, same energetic presence, regardless of circumstances. Some fans who have been following BTS since the early days share their observations about how Jimin has always been like this. They talked about seeing him at music shows in the early morning hours, at the end of grueling promotional schedules, during periods when the group was doing multiple concerts in different cities with minimal rest between shows. The consistent report is that while other members might show understandable signs of exhaustion, Jimin maintains this almost supernatural freshness. It's become part of his mystique, part of what makes him so captivating to watch. The Lisbon airport incident also sparked broader conversations about beauty standards, self-care, and the pressure on celebrities to maintain perfect appearances. Some people pushed back against the intense focus on Jimin's appearance, arguing that it creates unrealistic expectations and might make regular people feel inadequate about their own post-flight looks. These are valid concerns, and it's important to acknowledge that comparing ourselves to celebrities who have access to resources most people don't isn't healthy or fair. At the same time, others argue that there's nothing wrong with appreciating something extraordinary when we see it, as long as we maintain perspective about the difference between celebrity life and regular life. What's particularly interesting about the response to Jimin's Lisbon arrival is how it crossed over from fan spaces into mainstream media and general public consciousness. This wasn't just K-pop fans talking among themselves. Major entertainment news outlets picked up the story. Beauty and fashion publications wrote articles analyzing his look. Even some general news sources covered it as a human interest story that, wait, what? Kind of piece that makes people stop scrolling and pay attention. The photos were shared millions of times across every social media platform, with people who don't follow BTS or even know much about K-pop stopping to comment on how unbelievable it seemed. Portuguese fans and media had their own particular perspective on the whole thing. For many people in Portugal, this was their first time seeing BTS in person, as it was the group's first visit to the country as a complete unit. Local fans who had been following BTS online for years, but never had the chance to see them live were finally getting that opportunity, and the reality exceeded their already high expectations. Multiple Portuguese army members posted emotional reactions, talking about how seeing Jimin in person was completely different from seeing him in photos or videos, how there was a quality to his presence that cameras somehow couldn't fully capture. One fan wrote a viral thread describing how she had been waiting at the airport for 10 hours, how she was prepared to see someone attractive, but how the reality of seeing Jimin walk past left her literally speechless and shaking. The incident also reignited discussions about the broader phenomenon of how some people just photograph differently than they appear in person. Jimin is often cited as someone who is somehow even more striking in real life than in professional photos, which seems impossible given how good he looks in carefully produced images. But countless testimonies from people who have seen him at concerts, fan meetings, or other events support this claim. There's apparently something about his presence, his aura, the way he moves and carries himself, that adds a dimension to his appearance that static images can't quite capture. And yet, even with that caveat, the Lisbon airport photos and videos were still stunning enough to go viral globally. What about the practical aspects? Some people started asking legitimate questions about the logistics of maintaining that appearance during travel. Does he sleep in a certain position to avoid facial creasing? Does he use special pillows or eye masks? Is there a specific hydration strategy, a certain amount of water consumed at specific intervals during the flight? Does he avoid certain foods that might cause bloating or skin issues? Does he do facial exercises or massage techniques during the flight? These might seem like silly questions, but people were genuinely curious about whether there were concrete, actionable tips they could learn from whatever Jimin's routine might be. The timing of this Lisbon arrival is particularly significant because it comes right as BTS is gearing up for their massive comeback after military service. The group is preparing to release their new album, Arirang, and embark on what's being called the biggest world tour in K-pop history. Every public appearance right now is being scrutinized, analyzed, and celebrated by fans who have been waiting years for this reunion. Jimin arriving in Lisbon looking absolutely perfect despite the grueling journey sends a message. BTS is back, they're ready, and they're not holding anything back. It's a statement of commitment and professionalism, a signal that they're approaching this comeback with the same intensity and excellence that made them global superstars in the first place. There's also something to be said about the cultural moment we're in right now. In 2026, after years of pandemic-related disruptions, renewed conflicts, economic uncertainty, and general global stress, people are hungry for things that feel magical, extraordinary, or outside the normal bounds of everyday life. Jimin stepping off a plane looking like he just emerged from a fairy tale provides a kind of escapism, a brief moment of wait. How is that possible? That breaks up the mundane routine. It's not solving any major problems, obviously, but it's providing a moment of wonder and beauty in a world that often feels short on both. The Dior bag he was carrying added another layer to the whole situation. The fact that this $8,700 bag sold out globally within minutes of his airport photos circulating demonstrates the incredible influence he wields. People want to capture even a fraction of whatever magic makes him look the way he does. And if buying the same bag gets them one step closer, they're willing to make that investment. This phenomenon, where Jimin causes immediate sellouts of whatever he's wearing or using, has been documented so many times that it has its own name in Korean, the Jimin effect. Brands actively seek to have him associated with their products because they know it will translate directly to sales. As the story continued to trend and more people weighed in, some interesting perspectives emerged from unexpected sources. Dermatologists started discussing the possible science behind maintaining good skin during air travel. Nutritionists talked about diet strategies that might help someone look their best even after long journeys. Sleep specialists discussed techniques for managing jet lag and fatigue. While none of them could explain the full Jimin phenomenon, they provided educational content that helped people understand the various factors involved in travel wellness. Looking at this whole situation, what becomes clear is that we're witnessing something that exists at the intersection of genetics, dedication, professional support, and possibly just something indefinable and special about who Jimin is as a person. Yes, he probably has excellent skincare products and routines. Yes, he likely takes meticulous care of himself. Yes, he has access to professional stylists and the resources that come with being a global superstar. But there are plenty of celebrities with all those same advantages who still look noticeably tired after 20-hour flights. There's something extra happening here, something that can't be fully explained by skincare products or good genes alone. The phrase, shining like a peach, really is perfect because it captures not just the visual aspect but also the freshness, the vitality, the sense of something perfectly ripe and at its peak. Peaches have that distinctive glow, that soft luminosity, and somehow that's exactly what people saw when Jimin arrived in Lisbon. It's become the defining description of this moment, the phrase that encapsulates what made it so remarkable and share-worthy. As BTS continues their activities in Lisbon, shooting what's rumored to be music video content for the Arirang album, fans are watching eagerly for more glimpses of the group. But the airport arrival moment has already secured its place in BTS history, another entry in the long list of times Jimin has done something that seems to defy normal human limitations. Whether it's his dancing ability, his vocal performances, his stage presence, or apparently his ability to look flawless after marathon international flights, he continues to set standards that others find impossible to match. So what's the takeaway from all this? For fans, it's validation of what they've been saying all along, that Jimin is special in ways that go beyond what can be easily measured or explained. For the general public, it's a fascinating glimpse into the phenomenon of modern celebrity and the way certain individuals capture collective attention. For the beauty and wellness industry, it's a reminder that despite all our products and techniques and scientific understanding, there's still something mysterious and irreducible about what makes someone truly radiant. As I wrap up this video, I want to know what you think. Have you ever seen someone in person who looked completely different than you expected? Do you have any theories about how Jimin maintains this level of perfection even after 20-hour flights? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the phenomenon of Airport Jimin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming content. We'll be following BTS throughout their Lisbon activities and the lead up to their massive comeback, so stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.